Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on the Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. It's a real pleasure of mine to introduce you tonight to a realtor that I follow on social media because he does two things that are really quite interesting. Number one, he's always commenting about the real estate market with some really very valuable comments. He has seminars on a fairly frequent basis, webinars, I think. And then he also posts a fair amount on leadership. And so it's interesting that he's really trying to inspire people from a real estate standpoint as well as from a personal development standpoint. I want to introduce you to Akbar Zareh, who is a realtor with Kingsway here in Mississauga, but also throughout Western, the GTA, Hamilton, etc. Akbar, welcome to the show tonight, sir. How are you?
My pleasure, Brian. Thank you.
So tell me, let's just start with the real estate market. I think it's a market that a lot of people are excited about but worried about. They're excited because it seems to have gone up a lot in the last little while, particularly in our area of Mississauga, the suburbs of the GTA. I saw a report in the Globe and Mail just the other day that said for the first time in a long time, there was out-migration from Toronto into the 905 and frankly into 705, 519, etc. So people are leaving the big city and moving into smaller, more suburban areas and even rural areas. And then at the same time, people are taking a look at the economy and so many different people that are commenting that there could be a housing bust because housing prices are so high. What's your sense, sir, of the current state of the real estate market in the Western GTA?
Well, since I would say strongly about last 10 years or so, everybody, all media have been, writing and talking about real estate bubble and so on, which never happened. So there are 4 or 5 elements that it's impacting our real estate business. So I just yesterday I just got the news that Guelph now had the average price of a $1 million range too, to a $1 million club now. So Guelph. So it's not just the GTA; it's now outside of the city. What's happening? People in Mississauga, Brampton, they sell their semi-detached for $1 million, and then they move into Stony Creek, Guelph, London, Fort Erie, and all across broad basically. So, and buying a price of $800,000 for value of a property that it's over 1.2 million. And then this is what's driving the market: the interest rate, immigration, and on top of everything is just the inventory, the supply of houses. Brian, it's been all-time low. We never.
Why is it so low?
Well, I don't want to put it on the impact of COVID and the pandemic, but that had a huge, factor pretty much. But more is demand of the consumers' demand. So as you know, there's over 420,000 immigrants. They are immigrating to Canada in the next few years. That's puts a huge pressure on the market, pretty much, the demand. And these people are not just the refugees like me. When I came to Canada, I came with $1 in my pocket. These are people that they're coming with millions of dollars immigrating to Canada. When they look at the price of a house, I'll buy it cash. They pay no condition, no financing required, and they buy cash. It worries me. Honestly, I've been very vocal. It worries me that the government is not doing nothing about it. Our associations are not doing nothing about it. And I'm worried about my young sons that they want to get into a market. How are they going to afford to buy a little condo, a shoebox in Mississauga?
I agree with you. But, what you're saying is that there's that the Canadian government is allowing 420,000 immigrants. Frankly, not allowing, encouraging, because they really want immigration to grow our economy and to add to our workforce. We've got unemployment that's at almost an all-time low, and so therefore we do need workforce. And as you know, we've got an aging population. And so therefore to finance that aging population's healthcare
Right.
costs, et cetera, we need younger people that are going to be working. So immigration makes sense, but, and that obviously dramatically increases demand. But at the same time, we've got, from what I understand, record low supply.
Correct.
So why aren't developers, why aren't builders, why aren't cities making more supply available then?
I think I work, as you know, I work very closely with builders. I sell for builders across Ontario, from Barrie to Niagara Falls, everywhere. And frankly, no disrespect to them, builders are being greedy. A lot of these builders, Brian, they had permit to build 3-4 years ago. They sat on it as they watched the market increasing. Can you imagine if I would tell you 3 years ago that, Brian, there's a condo in Mississauga, house for $15 million, you would say, Akbar, you are out of your mind. But that's what's happening. Parking spot in Mississauga, parking is selling for $80,000.
$80,000 for a parking spot in Mississauga.
One parking spot. Right now, we're looking about a range of between $1,100 to $1,200 to $1,300 per square feet. And of course, government's banking on it. I'm not against government or against builders and so on. I'm telling the reality, the truth out, what it is, and it's not getting better. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. When you look at Mississauga, there's 60 new condo building that's going to be under development from now to the next 5 years. The price is not coming down. It's going up and up and up and up. You know?
How can you add that kind of inventory? 60 condo buildings in Mississauga in the next, you said 5 years, I think.
Right.
How can you add that kind of inventory and have prices continue to escalate? This doesn't make sense.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense. You're absolutely right. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. And that's not only Mississauga. I'm talking about cross GTA everywhere. Look at Vaughan, what's happening in Vaughan, what's happening in Scarborough, all over downtown Toronto, for that matter. You know, it's just crazy. $1,300 per square feet. Can you imagine? A shoebox, 500 square feet home. Condo, you got to pay $700,000-$800,000 for 500 square feet condo. So
you're not worried about a bust, obviously, if you think that supply is such a problem.
I am. I'm not happy about it. I run a large brokerage in Mississauga, in GTA, pretty much. I got tons of agents. I'm worried. I'm worried that the foundation, the bottom of this real estate market is the first-time buyer. If we lose that foundation, it's going to be a crash. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a crisis. So government is not doing anything, Brian. Don't do nothing. It was just last week, actually, they had a meeting with the Minister of Housing and stuff. They allocated $118 million fund for housing. 118 million, that's it? How many houses can you build with $118 million? As we talked about, a little tiny shoebox is selling for $1 million. So you can build 118 condos. That's it. That solves the problem? Absolutely not. Government needs to take a more deeper look at this crisis before we face the same issue that south the border a few years back. Remember with the subprime and stuff like that, that market went down and is still, after 10, 12 years, still they have not recovered in the U.S. They still not recovered. We don't want to face those guys. Government has to take action now, have to come up with some ideas to solve this housing crisis. And we as a real estate agent, we have partnered. I don't know if you saw my posting, it went viral basically 2-3 days ago. I pretty much, I placed the realtors. I said, what are you guys doing? It's not, they are getting a house that's $900,000, Brian. They're listing at $699,000. And then they advertise that sold for $1 million. If it's $900,000, list the damn property for $900,000. Why?
So this blind bidding has been an issue, and it's interesting because in almost every other market, this control by real estate agents and by blind bidding has been taken away by the internet. And you've got travel agents that are no longer. You've got people that are buying stocks and bonds online, not through brokerage houses. But for some reason, real estate has maintained via the real estate agents, and this blind bidding is a big issue, and it's something that really really isn't conducive to capitalism or free markets or open markets. There's a company in Ontario, Ottawa, that's launched a online auction system, and they want to put out of business blind bidding. Think it's wrong and think it doesn't serve anyone's services, particularly in a market where you want to have more buyers be able to buy at accurate prices rather than inflated prices. What do you think? Should we have online auctions, open auctions,
honestly,
open bidding?
I prefer auction over the blind bidding. At least when you're doing an auction, you know what is the highest bid that you can that price. With the way we are doing right now, I'm blaming the realtors. The way we are doing it, it's not fair to the buyers, it's not fair to the sellers, it's not fair to the agents. My clients qualify for $700,000 mortgage. The house is listed for $750,000. I take them, show them that, and that sells for $950,000, $1 million. It's just waste of everybody's time, waste of buyers' time, waste of the agent's time, waste of mortgage brokers' time. I'm not in favor of blind bidding at all. From day one, I've been voicing my concern that this is wrong. This is totally wrong. The agents are this is the problem that I have, and I always get into trouble. But we don't have leadership. Our industry, real estate industry, we don't have leadership. Not Toronto Real Estate Board, not OREA, not Korea, none of them, they taking any action to at least put a stop to this crisis.
Some of the other suggestions have been, foreign buyers tax, vacant home tax. There was a proposal made by a think tank last week about a surtax on homes over $1 million. What do you think about some of these other suggestions?
See, again, the focus on the rich, the guy that has some money, the foreign investor that coming here and loaded with money it's pretty well off, got money. Tax not going to hurt him. Tax is hurting the first-time buyer. We have to look at the bottom of the foundation of this market, where we got an issue. Affordability is an issue right now. That's the biggest problem. The guy that got money, he doesn't mind to pay taxes. That doesn't solve the issue. There's more money in the government's pocket.
So my concern is that it is based, the current situation is based, number one, on low interest rates. And particularly that so many people are taking advantage of variable rate, floating rate mortgages because they think and believe that mortgage rates are going to stay low forever because they have for a long period of time. But right. You've been around. I've been around when interest rates were above 15%. And if you've got a variable rate mortgage that jacks up like that, you obviously have some big issues. And so I think that the central bank easing has artificially inflated lots of assets, whether they be stock market as well as real estate. And then I think the other thing is that governments haven't opened up supply enough. And I think builders will build if they can make a good return on money, if they've got the approval to build. But I think that too often governments, local governments have been the problem, where they have restricted the approvals of zoning, of building permits. They charge outrageously high development fees that mean the tax burden for new development is all on the new home buyer, when really it should be the whole society that pays that. So I think local government is the problem, that they have to open up more land for development and open up more density for building. What do you think?
You said it beautifully. There's 2.2 million acres of crown land that's sitting there, government sitting on it. They don't do nothing. My question for all those lawmakers that, why aren't you guys looking at that? 2.2 million acre crown land sitting there. They could redevelop those areas, we could rezone it and start building houses. I'm worried, Brian. I'm really, really worried because nobody's doing anything. Nothing is being done. I'm very worried about this housing crisis that's we're going to face it. When? We don't know. We're going to face it.
When we don't know, we're going to face it. Akbar Zareh is very worried about it. We're going to take a break for some messages and come back in just a minute. Stay with us, everybody. Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on the Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. We're chatting tonight about real estate and the real estate market with local realtor from Kingsway, Akbar Zareh. Akbar, you said you came here with $1 in your pocket. Tell me a little bit about your own personal story, if you could. Where are you from?
My background is I'm from Iran, actually. So from Iran.
And when did you come to Canada?
85, I think it was, like 1985.
And you seriously only had $1 in your pocket?
Seriously, I had $1 in pocket.
And so if it was in the 80s, you were escaping from what was going on, 89 was, no, it was 79 was the Ayatollah took over from the Shah. Right. So yes. What was going on in Iran that you left Iran at the time?
Well, 78 was where the revolution started happening. So we skipped Iran. Pretty much, I was 3 years in, here, there, and then came here in 1985. Came to Canada with $1 as a refugee, and started working in a factory in Etobicoke as a labor. I used to play soccer, but unfortunately, soccer at those days there was nothing going on with the soccer here. So I started working in a factory, and just down at Parkland and Lakeshore. And then in 3 years later, I bought my little townhouse in Mississauga. You were talking about the mortgage rate. It was 18% was the mortgage rate.
18%.
And the minimum wage at that time was $4.10. I actually remember. Yeah.
I don't want to ask you how old you are, but how old were you when you came to Canada in 1985?
I'm 60 now, so let's just work it backwards. Yeah. 20 something. So
you were a young man. You were a young adult. Were you married? Did you have a family?
We're still young. So I got two boys. Yeah.
But when you came to Canada,
no, I wasn't married. I got married here.
Yeah. And tell me, was it difficult? How did you become such a success? So many people come to Canada as refugees or immigrants. What's the key, you think, to your success?
I appreciate that. Should drive and your mindset pretty much. So what do you want in life? I came with two other guys. One overdosed at Lansdowne and Blue Run, passed away on drug overdose. And the other one said, heck with this country. I came here from Sweden. I don't want to work in Sweden. They pay me a paycheck every other week. So why would I want to work there? So I went back. So I stuck here pretty much. So so everybody's different. Not every immigrant are successful. Not everybody just like yourself is successful. So it's just a drive, and what do you want in life?
So if some politician or government asked you to come and speak to a whole bunch of new immigrants that just arrived or just became Canadian citizens, and to tell them what the keys to their success would be, what would you tell them?
Just as I said, work hard, know what you want, and have a mindset of a winner mindset. Go after your dreams. This country, we are blessed to have such a beautiful country. If you work hard and you put your mind to it, success is yours.
You post on social media a fair amount about real estate, but also about leadership and
yes.
and mindset and things like that. Why?
I think I'm trying to inspire my followers. So in LinkedIn, I got like 19,000 followers, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. I try to inspire. I think I owe it to the society. I owe it to this country. If I can touch one person a day, that give them some inspiration and motivation to do something with their life, I think I've done my job. So
well, you've touched me. I've appreciated your inspirational quotes. Thank you so much, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out to you and meet you. How do you think How do you think you have that impact? Is it just social media inspiration? Do you mentor people? Do you say that you have these webinars on a regular basis? What else do you do?
I'm a student of Bob Proctor. I'm a life coach actually, but I don't practice life coach. I'm a certified life coach with Bob Proctor. I'm sure you know who Bob Proctor is, Canadian. one of my idol. I done coaching all my life. I've been in business for 30 some odd years. I coached realtors over 2,000, more than 2,000 realtors across Canada and United States on one-on-one coaching to help them to grow their business. I don't know. It's just in me to help people. That's all it is, really.
Why?
So,
When you're a self-employed individual, you make your money on commissions on real estate buys and purchases and sales.
right.
Why would you spend so much time out helping others rather than just helping yourself?
Again, it's not all about money. I know in this country it's kind of not acceptable. It's not norm that you do something for free or you do. That's my way of giving back to the community, to this country that done so much for me. And that's appreciation, and giving back to the community, especially real estate community. I've been around for a long time. I serve on so many real estate board as a board of director on so many boards and for free, and impact to change to make our life better. So I think all of us we owe that.
So your principles are work hard, determination, and drive. It's the beginning of a new year. Do you have any suggestions for people about how to set the course right for 2022?
Don't give up. Whatever is your dream, don't give up. But we are lucky that in today's this society nowadays, there's so many resources online that you can tap into it and get yourself educated on the subjects that you want to be good at. It doesn't matter what it is. There's so many resources out there. So we just have to, as I said, have the mindset of not giving up and following your dream. That's all it is.
Don't give up. Have the mindset and follow your dream.
Got it.
Sounds good. So we've talked about the real estate market. We've talked about some of your concerns and some of my concerns. But right now, I think you were saying that you've got some statistics that prices are up outrageously.
Prices up going year after year. So I was just having I was going to actually post on the social media. I'm looking at the prices like semi-detached, detached homes. I broke it down into a year over year. Last year compared to this year, for example, detached single family detached home price in Toronto, when I'm saying Toronto, GTA pretty much, gone up 28.9% from last year compared to this year. Sorry. The increase of 28.9% in detached homes in GTA. Semi-detached are like 25.7%. Condos 18%, 18.5%. This is the GTA pretty much. The price of that gone up, and expected the same this year.
So we've talked about supply being low. We've talked about immigration being high, demand being high. We've talked about people wanting to leave the city and move to the suburbs. So why won't this crazy world of high price increases continue?
The demand is there. Supply is low, demand is high.
So it should continue.
Yeah, it will continue.
So what's going to cause a bust?
If the government doesn't interfere, the government doesn't come up very soon, Brian, very soon. They got to act soon. With some solution to this problem, we're going to face a major issues. Major issue.
And that major issue is that people just can't afford to buy.
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple of people that think that might be one of the biggest issues that separates out people of my generation and the younger generation. And actually, this was a question in the leaders' debate in the last election, where Jagmeet Singh, the problem with the housing is that older people that have got huge appreciation in the net worth of their house like high prices, but young people don't, because they can never get in, and they got to move to Georgetown or farther afield if they want to buy that single family home dream. And it really is going to be a separation between people that have got money and people that don't have money. And that's when revolutions have happened and real problems have happened in the past, when there is this massive difference between people that have got money and people that don't have money.
The gap. What you're talking about is the gap. When the gap hits between two generations, it creates crisis. We know that. So the student from a university that graduating from university coming out already in a negative, owe money to government to student loan,
because a student
coming
debt,
out
sure.
already negative. How are they going to afford to own a property. On the other hand, the rental market going up and up and up. Again, downtown Mississauga, right by my office, by Square One, one bedroom in a den is renting for $2,400 a month. Like,
something is wrong. We've got to fix it. There's no question. The problem is there's a whole bunch of people that own homes that benefit from it.
Yes. So, listen, I'm all for prosperity. I'm all for people gaining money and so on. It's not the, your average Joe and Jill. It's not their fault that the price on. So they're capitalizing on the market. So we cannot blame them. What I'm pointing out is the leadership in real estate industry, the leadership in government, that they need to step in quick as soon as possible. They putting this away, putting aside. It seems like they're not. Yeah, it's going to come election and everybody going to promise and promise and promise. All the politicians, we know they're going to promise we're going to do this, but the minute that they get the seat, forget about it.
Akbar, I really appreciate you joining us today. If people want to reach out to you for real estate services and or want to follow you on social media to get your inspirational quotes and your real estate guidance, how do they do that?
Appreciate it. My phone number is 416-823-3434. Again, it's 416-823-3434. That's my direct cell phone number. And on social media, I go by name Akbar_Zareh, Zareh. So I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you so much.
Akbar Zareh, thank you so much for joining us on Canada One, the Brian Crombie Show. I got to finish by saying I really think this is an issue of unbelievable imports that came up a little bit in the last election, housing affordability, but not enough because we've been sort of overly focused, obviously, on the pandemic and other issues. But if young people lose the dream of home ownership, completely lose that dream because it's out of reach, I think that's a major problem. It's a major problem economically. It's a major problem socially.
Absolutely.
It's a major problem from a family standpoint. We talked, there was an article last week about how baby births are down precipitously because people are, in cramped, 500 square foot condos when they're at the age of baby making. And I don't think governments have paid attention to this. And I think the problem is lack of supply. So we've created this situation where demand is going to increase. It's going to increase because of immigration. It's going to increase because of migration still back to the big cities of Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. It's going to increase because of investors, and governments haven't responded. They haven't increased supply, and they've got to increase the supply not just by maybe selling off some crown land that you talked about, but I think most importantly by increasing density, by speeding up zoning approvals, and by speeding up building permit approvals, because time is money for developers. Absolutely. And if they make more development space available, developers will come in and build what people want. The market works, but government is messing it up. I firmly believe that.
You said it perfectly. I 100% agree.
That's our show for tonight, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everyone.
इस सर्दी